Well, the parking area looks a lot better, doesn't it? We got the wood cleaned up. I got it mostly cut up. We're ready to put it all in the building. We've got a couple rows in there now. We got another trailer full. We might get 2 trailer fulls with what's left. I think I'm going to run short. But we got it off the drive. We got it in the winter months when we couldn't get back in the lawn. We couldn't get it all, anywhere. So we just dumped it in the driveway. What happened is it was there so long that some grass grew up. The frost heaved out of the ground. It got soft in a couple spots. Usually when you cover something up, it makes a mess. Here's the rock that I was poking up. I removed. We got some sawdust from cutting. And we got a little low spot there. When it rains, it's filling up. And I generally want to clean this up. Like the grade going up into the shed there, it's just a dirt floor in that shed. I like this shed to go away sometime. I'd like to take these 2 buildings and put them over here and space them apart, and then be able to put like the lift down between them, something like that. But anyways, the center door isn't bad. It's got a pitch down. The end door over there is a little too much. It comes down fast. When you're plowing snow, it kind of messes with you. Part of the reason for wanting to move the sheds over here is that they'd faced the east, and it would be a good direction to drive directly in. Right now, they're a little awkward having the garage doors this way and that way. In the winter months, you got to come in, scoop, and pull snow away. It takes forever. If I had the sheds out of the way, I could just drive right across and push it into the woods, and I'd gain more parking spots. I could set the trailers right where they are. Then I have something mobile, and then we have this working parking area open so that people don't have to stay on the drive. It is a circle drive, but once you put cars in it, then people can't get out. And if you get down low, you can see how lumpy it is. I don't know if you can notice that, but like it comes down fast and it up and down, and there's a low spot. When it rains, it settles there. It settles over there. We got some rocks. I don't know what happened here. Maybe I plucked a rock out or caught it in the winter and it just hunked out. And what I'd like to do, this is a longer term, but I'd like to get I got the box blade on. I got it leveled. I'd like to come in here and scrape this off. Drag it to one side, drag it back, loosen it up, soften it up. This is about a foot thick of gravel. It's crusher run on top, probably 4 inches or so in most spots. There are, because we have rocks up here and ledge, there are some spots with some big rock in it, and I kind of just leveled it off. And then we had this shed here, and then I added on those sheds. I needed storage. And the rainwater, well, actually the ice came down, and we had a huge backup of ice. It ripped the gutter down, and now we're getting hammering spots in here, so I got to fill this in. Grass is growing in here. I don't like it. I want to bring some blacktop millings in. I think that's a good choice. Concrete would be ideal, but I don't really have a budget for that. If I did concrete, I got to scrape it down 4 inches, put in a 4-inch concrete minimum with rebar, and plastic under probably, and then I'd pretty much want to enclose it at that point. But for right now, I'd like to put millings on this. And the neighbor, half a mile down the road, is a blacktop contractor, and he's got a huge mound of millings. Now, if he'll sell it to me or bring it up here, I'd probably buy a couple 10-wheeler loads of it. It's usually cheaper than gravel, and he doesn't have to truck it very far, half a mile. They like that. And if he dumped out a couple piles, I'd like to grade it off. And if so, I'd like to put it 1 inch or 2 thick and then run my plate tamper, make this nice hard surface where the grass probably wouldn't grow as well through it. And if that happens, I got to dig down right along the edge of the driveway a couple inches so I can go up and meet to it, And I want to get this scraped off and graded off, and I might end up putting a landscape rake on when I'm done. I don't know how well this is going to work. Over here, there's a rock somewhere right there. You see this rock? Now, this is a big one. I tried digging it out with a backhoe, and it's huge. And so when I did this, I just had them back in here and dump it. I graded it as level as I could, and I wanted pitch away this way, and then a swale going around the building. Right now it works, except we got one low spot, and I think that's from snow plowing. You know, you're kind of pushing it out every time. And there is a 6-inch drain with a socket runs underneath here that was used for the gutter, but I didn't put any ice blocks up here on the roof because I didn't want to hold back more snow, because this run, get back so you can see it, is about 60 feet long, and that's a lot of snow up there. See, that's like a ski slope, come whoo, and then right out. And I didn't want to hold the snow back, so I didn't, and it worked for about 3 years, but now this past season it ripped the gutter right off, so that's going in the scrap pile. We got some recycling. We got sawdust from when we cut. I raked the wood, everything miscellaneous up, picked it up that I could, and now I want to scarf this all up. So I'm going to be coming through, whoop, 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 back and forth. I probably will end up bringing a little bit up to the building in them 2 spots, and probably dumping some right along here to bring it up about 1 inch, I think it is, low. And I think that trailer can sit there for now, but I'd like to get the trailers over here and allow that grass to grow, because Dawson, he kind of wants a little lawn by his building, and then I've been working my way over and storing stuff, you know, and I got wood over there, but I mean, I'm limiting him. So I want to get this cleaned up. And on the this is just a Tractor Supply king cutter 6-footer. I got the rippers off. This has 6 of them, and I've used this. I've got it dented. I used it, and it's got forward and reverse, and it's a regular box scraper. So when you drive forward, it'll scoop it out. We take and we level this out, so we get it vertically level. So you look here, and it's touching even on both sides. And then if you want it left and right, which I just played with, is I set it down and one edge touched, the other edge was up 1 inch. So then you adjust this rod, just flip this up and crank, and I got it pretty level. So now I probably have to run it in low range and scoop through here. You can see, like right from the edge of the driveway, the water is hammered down. There's about 2 inches down there. So I really want to work this. And then, like I said, I'm going to check with the neighbor, see if I can buy some millings. If I get somebody to truck it from farther, it's going to be pretty expensive. I think it's, I don't know, $8-10 a yard. So to me, that's kind of reasonable. I think I'm going to need about 20 yards. And so 2 10-wheeler dump trucks would be nice in here. So if I can't get it, at least this base is going to be pretty decent. We get a nice hard rain and some of this sawdust to kind of disappear. And I definitely got to get the grass gone. I don't like grass in this park area. So let's get a start on it. Well, let's get going. I got a drink. Oh, it's kind of warm out for a change. doesn't do too bad for a little 25 horse tractor. That 6-foot box scraper, that holds a lot of earth. And I started off in second and 2-wheel drive, and it did good until the bucket got full, and I dropped it down to 4-wheel drive. It did a little better, and then I put it in low, and then I can just keep right on going. But see how it's filling in these spots? And we get back here, get down enough. As you see the low spot a little bit right here still, but I got to back up and come in straight so I can cut that down. And then I got a full bucket, box scraper full of leftover over there. Then I'm going to come back in front of that shed. I want to come up about 1 inch to 4 inches and fill that back in. Like I said, I scarfed that out. I had something there, and then I think I brought barrels of sand out. They were in the shed for the winter on the driveway, and then when I went to scrape it up, I was digging right in, so I made that mess. Over here, it looks like it filled this in pretty nice. There's a couple little 3-inch stones there, nothing major. And there's a little bit of sod there, but it cleaned this sod up pretty nice. Leaves a little bit. I wanted to finish up going lengthwise because that's the direction the water travels. You go this way and you're going to hold water. And you see I've cut down over the years. I think I've lost about 3 or 4 inches right here, but that's okay. And then this is pretty nice stuff. Crusher run, and it'll pack back down, but we got some big rocks in here, so I can't grade that any better. And that big rock there, but I got my swale back, and if I turn and I come this way, because we're 6 feet wide and there was kind of like a drainage through here, the edges touch, the center lifts, so it leaves it in there, if you know what I'm saying. So I think that's pretty good. I think the next step is if I grab the York rake and well, I shouldn't say that. If I move this soil, this crusher, and put it up there, scrape that grass out of there on both edges, and run about 2 or 3 inches right there, and then pack that down where the water's dripping. And then over here where it goes up into that shed, I got to bank this up. I'm going to do that with a bucket, and over there about 3 inches, just coming out 3 feet. This one's coming out about 4 or 5 feet, and that'll use up the gravel. And like I said, if I'm able to get some millings, this time of year they're patching roads and so on, it might be hard to get it, but if I can get some millings, I am going to come across here and scrape that down along the edge of the drive so I can get it in a couple inches thick there. And I think if we got millings, and I used the laser, which I did once on this, I got the slope to come away. I think I probably won't dig it up much in the winter months with a snowblower if I can get it to pack down. And when I first did this in Crusher Run, I mean, this was hard, like concrete, you know, and it did really well for a couple years, but it's right in the spring or the first snow of the season is when the ground's not froze, when you go and you make your messes, you know. So I'll pick up a little bit of sod. I'll finish putting this up in there. I'll either go get the York rake, which I've got a 6-footer, and just kind of clean this up, or I'll take the back of the bucket, set her down and scrape it flat right on these little ridges. So just a little project with the box scraper. Kind of cleans that up right here. I kind of left a mess when I turned around, but I'll clean that up. And this thing was coming right over the top of it, so this thing will dig. And for a little 25 horse, that's pretty powerful. I think this works great for driveways. And, you know, if I could go out in the woods with it and had traction, it'd make us a nice trail. 6 feet wide would be real nice. But I think I can see the low spot right there. So I got about, I don't know, probably half a yard there that I can sprinkle some there, finish them up, and hope I can get some millings. And if I do, I want to put them in the carport too. So follow along. We'll see what the next project leads us to. Thanks for watching.